Excuse me, I'm next in line. Excuse me, I'm next in line. Watch out. Excuse me, I'm next in line. I said move. Excuse me, I'm next in line.
Me again is
Wolpe, Eastside Harlem repping. What it do?
today is Super Bowl Sunday. So real quick to get that off my chest, Patriots for the win is my prediction. Although pretty much it doesn't really matter. No one is really interested in the Super Bowl game. Everyone is so pissed off because the Rams don't belong there because of some controversial calls that aren't their fault. That they were even trying to get the whole thing, like they were suing over having the game replayed or taking
Yeah, wasn't it
back
against the Colts or something?
I
like
don't
that?
remember who they were. No one. I haven't honestly. This NFL season has meant nothing to me because I'm a Giants fan. So with them being trash this year, it was kind of just like, well, maybe they can be a spoiler. Then they weren't really spoiling, and then I was kind of like, I could care too less about this because in the end, when the Patriots get to the Super Bowl, we are their kryptonite. So without us, the league is not saved. So
It's boring without the Giants.
I mean, it really is, though. It really is. And then this LA team, don't get me wrong, they've played good football, but everyone knows they don't belong there right now. Then besides that, a lot of people are pissed off because of the whole Maroon 5 thing.
Because they're playing?
No. Because Maroon 5 is playing, the band with Adam Levine is playing football?
Oh, sorry, my head. No, I mean like playing the halftime.
Yeah, they're the halftime show. And they decided not to give a press conference. And people, normally people want to use the press conference as a chance to explain, like, why are you playing for the Super Bowl? Because of the whole Colin Kaepernick bullshit the last few years.
Yeah.
And
I know almost every black rapper and artist.
Well, a lot of black people are no longer going to participate in the Super Bowl because the NFL has admitted to being racist. And NFL, you're racist. If it wasn't for the fact that black people are superior athletes, best believe this would still be an all-white league.
What did you say? Technically, almost every major league sport is racist.
No.
Baseball's a little. Nah, baseball's too Hispanic.
No, I mean, they can be very racist, but all I'm saying is no league has been this blatantly racist since Jackie Robinson, who, by the way, would have been 100 a few days ago, and the MLB, right? Like, once black people started getting into these leagues, pretty much the idea of them being completely racist, sort of, not I shouldn't say once black people started getting in, but the idea that they're 100% racist,
which team has like which league was the one that let the gay people play without them getting that?
I don't know. I don't follow the gay struggle. I'm not gay. I'm being that serious.
No, because I know NFL got rid of a lot of their gay players.
Well, because no guy wants to be in the locker room with gay people. I mean, literally, there was a whole big thing when they got. I say it was 2-3 years ago. They were one of these guys, college players, came out as gay, and they were like, I don't really want him. And then when he got to the NFL, right, like because they, after the whole movement, whatever, they had to let him in. His performance was still kind of meh. That they were able to kind of meh. You know what I'm saying? Or horse racing is because they know black people are not small. That's from Charles. He's saying horse racing is racist because we're not small enough. I mean,
wow.
The only reason that this is hilarious is because I'm probably small enough to be a horse jockey.
Probably. Probably, bro.
But I wouldn't be surprised if I mean, okay, put it to you this way: anything with old rich white people probably is owned by a racist. Let's just call it what it is. However, no league has been as blatantly racist as the NFL in close to 20, 30, 40 years.
No, yeah, especially when they have you can't kneel anymore or you get penalties, so you have to stay in the locker.
Exactly.
Because veterans and a lot of veterans were like, we don't give a, we don't care. Like, we understand, like, he was protesting, like.
What it is that he was protesting. Well, I don't want to get on to this again. Did this, but he was protesting because the black struggle does not end just because of 9/11. They felt it was disrespectful, and he wouldn't quit the protest. A lot of people thought he was just doing a media thing, yada, yada, yada. Look, frankly, what it is that being black in America doesn't change on 9/11 like it does the other 365 or leap years, 366 days of the year. We are always looked at as the worst people. Now, a day that should unify us all is not a day to forget that blacks are still treated like less than shit in this country. And that's what he was kneeling for on that day. His protest didn't stop just because a bunch of Americans died. Because a bunch of Americans dying still didn't change the fact that we're treated as less than. So, that is why black people are now boycotting the NFL halftime show. Because the thing about it is you don't get paid to do the halftime show. You usually have to pay to do the show because that many people are watching. It's like pretty much being Pepsi and buying this thing. That's what you're doing. So most artists who've been doing it, like JT, did it because about within a week his album was dropping. Right? So
that makes sense.
Right, so people are we're wanting this conference from Maroon 5 to explain themselves, and Maroon 5 just like, we ain't doing it because they shouldn't have to explain themselves. Frankly, if the Super Bowl, even with low numbers like this Bowl will probably have, or lower numbers, I should say, more people watch the Super Bowl than voting for an election, by the way.
Well, voting for, because Super Bowl is on the weekend.
No, that's not why. It's literally because they care more about football than they do about the president.
That too.
So...
Supposedly, we had a whole argument in political science about that. He was like a lot of factors factored into it.
No, it's not. It's just very simple. It has nothing to do with the weekend thing. It's literally that more Americans are interested in sports in general than they are politics.
It's a lot more fun, entertaining.
Exactly. Entertainment will draw in bigger numbers. People are willing to invest in stuff that will let them escape problems and stuff that brings up problems. Yeah. So that's the main reason.
You're right.
I mean, you've had elections on a Saturday or Sunday. People be like, this is my day to do nothing. What am I going to waste 4 hours to do? People care about their time. It has nothing to do. They'll do what they want to do with it. That's all there is.
You have a valid point, but there's still another point where, like, people who want to vote technically don't even have time to vote because, work and stuff.
People who want to vote have never been on a line to vote.
Yeah.
And when you have to wait.
What had me rolling is that they were like, oh, the young generation doesn't go out and vote as much. And we're like, well, we got work in school, bro. Like, we barely have time to, like, do this shit. Like, barely. And people were like, oh, they were also blaming young people because they're bringing down the market in most areas, like the housing market, all of that. And then somebody was like,
young people are the reason why Obama's president.
Pretty much.
So, like, that's not, if young people care about what's going on, they will show up. Because young people only show up to things they care about.
Yeah, you're right. Shit. I barely showed up to this election. I was like, fuck this shit.
I didn't care. Who's going to vote for the lesser of two evils? That's why this election had low numbers in general. No one was interested. No one was interested. I'm like, if Bernie Sanders had been running, you would have seen the number of youth that voted for Obama to come out to this election. You would have seen it. Older people, I'm not talking about that number, but young people would have come out. Young people did not. The only people who were really for Hillary Clinton and young were women who don't shave. But back to sports. Patriots for the win. Also in local sports, the Knicks have traded Kristaps Porzingis, who they were building a team around, and he just kept getting injured. And after wasting a ton of money on Tim Hardaway, who they originally gave away and had to get back, and is literally the most consistent scorer and player, are getting rid of him. So they're trying to rebuild. I think they picked up DeAndre Jordan, who is a strong player, but again, with him being a strong player and not having a team around him, is going nowhere fast. So they opened up their salary caps.
I already gave up on Knicks.
They've opened up their salary caps. So maybe they can build up some other stuff. Kevin Durant may be coming to New York, which is why they're opening their salary cap to pick him up.
Thank God.
And
it might help, like maybe, like into the playoffs at least, like minimum.
And pretty much, we just wasted a lot of money and time with picking up a white boy from a foreign country. Boom.
At least they're trying.
No, it's not even at least they're trying. It's just like this was literally a waste of all of our times. The only good news really for New York in sports these days is the fact that we can still tease people about being the only team that can really help save the NFL from the Patriots, and that one of our young players from the New York Giants has also been Pepsi's MVP of the year. So on a losing year, a win for the Giants. On that note, we're going to end our sports talk and come back with some local news. Charles, if you could.
But technically, remember.
Skyline of a city that's a nightmare in a daydream. And all of those years, all of those days, she was just another girl on the cinema screen. And all of those years, all of those days, she was just another marvel on the big stage. Just a silent film filling up the empty space. Sometimes the noise is harder. Just a silent film's better than the speak alive.
So a lot of stuff happening in New York in the area. So we're gonna get around to some of those things. So the first is with Valentine's Day coming up. There are a couple different things happening around the city, right? So one is that they're promoting cockroaches at the Bronx Zoo because Madagascar hissing cockroaches are all about their mates. So, the most disgusting insect is a symbol of love, like how bumping uglies is how we make more humans.
Well, I'm going to the zoo to see them niggas. I just have to turn off the light in the kitchen and see them.
Because those are cockroaches, not Madagascar hissing cockroaches. You live in Madagascar?
No, but...
So your cockroaches don't hiss? I mean, they're muffled and moving around that it sounds like it, but they're not hissing. That's just crawling and like scales crunching. Yo!
Okay!
No. No birds allowed in the studio.
Messing with Will is funny.
No birds allowed in the studio. You can go outside with the pigeons.
You really
Somebody
hate
else
Cardi
in the room
B.
chicken dancing. Oh, speaking of Cardi B, that chick's back in court where all the rest of you thoughts belong.
They made a song for them now, Tatiana.
Man, everything that comes out of Cardi B's mouth is a song for the Thought Nation. If you a Cardi B fan, you a thought.
Cardi
and
B
if you a
didn't
thought,
make it.
I don't need you in my life.
Cardi B didn't make this song. It's just called Tatiana.
No. Every word that comes out of Cardi B's mouth becomes an anthem for all the thoughts out there. So they already been have music.
Well, to me, anywhere that come out of Amber Rose, Black China.
No. Black China can't be a representative of Thought Nation because her head game is whack. Yo, her sex game, whack. I don't know if you seen that video. Whack.
I did. My shit turned to a gummy worm.
It's whack.
My shit stood a gummy
All the
worm.
hype about her, which I never understood, instantly had to start vaporizing from everybody that I know because they're like, yo, that's what we got excited about. Exactly.
They even have jokes where niggas were like, yo, I'll teach you how to give some head. Like, you need some lessons. Like, that's the jokes that are coming out from every comedian.
It was bad. I've seen a bunch of the celebrity sex tapes. Let's not act like we haven't. Hers in particular was very bad.
It was whack. Like,
Very.
Charles, you don't even want to go Google.
It's not even worth googling. Like,
yeah, imagine a fish eating its food.
I mean, even
in a tank.
the one where the guy's having sex with her, like doing the work, still whack. Like just whack. She's just whack.
The only thing about her is the fame. That's all you get. Like, oh yeah,
it's not even worth it.
I'll smash her. Like,
That's not even worth it.
fame.
I'd rather have sex with Rob Kardashian than I would Black China for the fame. Like real talk. At least his name is Kardashian.
He went gay for
That's
like a hot
how
second.
bad her sex tape was. Like,
I'd rather have Amber Rose than. Like,
Oh, Amber Rose is. I would do Amber Rose anyway. I just wouldn't date her because she has kids. So.
That money real though.
Not really.
She can set you up for life.
It's not even worth pulling the Kevin Federer line. I'm not dating a chick with kids.
Well, her kids belongs to West Khalifa, so you don't even have to worry about the kid. Like,
I don't care. Yeah.
all right.
I'm not dealing with Wiz. Wiz be like, yo, you with my ex? Yeah, no.
Wiz's not that tight. Wiz's like, hey, you with her, man? She a headache. You want this? You want to smoke this blunt?
No, that's what you think. That he's come out before coming at people trying to hook up with his ex. So.
Really?
Yes.
Oh damn. I'll try. If I really had
Yes.
if I had to choose, I'll choose
You
Mia Khalifa.
have a better time hooking up with J-Lo because Mark Anthony doesn't care who the ex is because like right now he's posing with her and A-Rod. Yeah, so like
I think Mark Anthony really does not
he
like.
doesn't care. My dude pays $48,000 in child support to all his baby mamas and is still flossing mad money because he's that rich. Yep. But that's why he also can't stop singing because he got to pay $48,000 a month in
That's the one thing I hate about that system. Like it's not needed. Like you don't need that much to take care of a kid.
Well, so here's the thing. Oh wow, we have so far off of local news, but when it comes to child support, for some reason, it works the same way as alimony. That once you have a child set to a certain standard, you have to keep paying to said standard. So because if his kids were living with him in a functional household, they would be living this lavish life. Yes, he has to pay $48,000 a month in child support for all his kids. So this is a process. All his baby moms. I think he has 3, if I'm not mistaken. So like one might be getting $20,000 because she has 2. Somebody has another 10, whatever. My thing is this: alimony and child support. Look, it needs to be enough, right? And that's frankly if she's not working. Like if I got married to some chick, I blew up, and we start living lovely because I blew up, but she's still working, right? Well, whatever her salary is, that's what she lives off of because she decided to leave me. But you cheated on her because I can afford to. Like, you know what I'm saying? Me being able to afford some more poom poom does not mean that she gets to take more than she needs to live.
What has me rolling is like when the girl cheats, and then the court's like, oh, you have to give her this much, and he's like, no, I don't, and then he uses his lawyer like, I have video evidence that she cheated on me, and she gets nothing. Like,
No, that's not funny. That's
not.
justice.
Absolutely not. And I just find it funny because the lady really thought that she was gonna get something, and I'd be like, yeah, you didn't get shit.
I mean, if she cheated and she's trying to take your money after she cheated, that's messed up.
Yeah.
Now, if you cheat and she's trying to take your money, I say give her something. Give her something that she's owed. But frankly, not half your shit. No.
Now a lot of people were saying like, hey, like bills, everything only needs $5,000. You take cares with $5,000. You don't need an extra 20. You don't need an extra 20 on top of that.
It's excessive.
That's excessive. Like to the point like she doesn't need it. Like it paid like $5,000 that pays bills, food, everything combined. You don't need that much. As a matter of fact, I don't need that much, but I just have it because it's my work and what I work for.
I mean, as far as I'm concerned, men don't get married in California. Oh, PA takes 55% off your pay. That's messed up. For child support. I mean, it is child support, but frankly, like the rest of your bills, it should only be up to a third of what you're making.
Yo, child support. No front. This sounds messed up. Child support makes me wanna like hire a hitman. Like low key. Like if I have money like that and I get a girl pregnant by accident and she doesn't have an abortion, it makes you want to hire a hitman. Like yo, end her, bro. Make it look like an
I just
accident.
set this on video, so now if there are any accidents that happen, ha ha ha.
I don't really care.
Ha ha ha.
Because I usually have an alibi, because I'm not.
It doesn't matter. You just put it on air so that you're suspect number one. New York State is the lowest for child support because they understand that this is the most expensive state to live in.
Yeah. What has me rolling is that there's one guy who works at Dunkin' Donuts, and they're like, why you don't get a job that pays more? I have too many kids. Like, no. And they, she's like, he has like 19 kids, and they all get like $2. They're like, we can't survive on this. And the court's like, get a better job. And he's like, I can't afford a better job, and I'm not getting a better job because they're getting too much to get more money. I'm like, damn, man, this guy was
smart moves though. Anywho, moving on. There's also another thing going on Valentine's Day by a group called Bundle, where they're giving out, like these board game nights for all those who are single on Valentine's Day and looking to meet people, or couples who want to do stuff with their friends rather than like a date night, because Valentine's Day is a Thursday. And I'm sorry, but Valentine's Day is not an excuse to get too drunk to not go to work on Friday. So on the day of, if you're looking for something to do, Bundle and cockroaches at the zoo. Also, it is February, so it's Black History Month. To which begs the question, how does one celebrate Black History Month? I know I started my Black History Month with the night of Popeyes.
Yeah, he's low-key racist.
I mean, to be fair, my dad's side is from Louisiana, and is as close to home as I get here in New York. But no, I mean, this is a month where it's the shortest month, so they gave it to black folks. It's also in the winter, which makes no sense. Like, we're not built for this. We're not hairy enough for this or whatever. We should have like August. You know, you can switch gays and blacks with February and whatever, because you're gay all year round.
Don't Hispanics have March or something? Like we have like the next month?
You guys don't even get May for like Cinco de Mayo or whatever. Like, you guys get nothing.
We do get a history month.
Yeah, you do. No, yeah. No, it is. No, it's official.
In the United States, it's official.
No. No.
Cinco de Mayo is everyone's excuse to get drunk. Like,
word.
Like it's not even like every Hispanic gets drunk and they be
you
like,
get drunk and eat tacos.
And they be like this, yeah, why are you doing it? Cinco de Mayo.
Like yo, what? No one can even tell you the story of it. They're just like, it's the 5th of May. They say it in Spanish, and we get to eat tacos and drink beer. Like, but no, I think it's either March or April, because one of them is Hispanic History Month and the other one is Women's History Month.
Yeah.
But
which in my opinion, all of them are just bullshit. Like,
I mean, it is.
Like,
frankly,
why are you celebrating a whole culture in 1 month? That makes no sense. Like, what's a Jew month at? What's that? Like, there was so many.
This is New York. It's all year round.
It's ridiculous.
I mean, look. The fact is, you don't celebrate Black History in the shortest month. You just can't. It doesn't make any sense. And then 2, I mean, you celebrate Black History all the time because half the stuff y'all say white people did, we did first. So
pretty much.
Just putting that out there.
Only thing they were good at is colonizing.
Which they're not even the first to do that.
Yeah, pretty kind of. Yeah.
Kind of. Wow. But no. In general, so for Black History Month, if you're looking for stuff to do, do anything because we probably already did it. There are tons of museum stuff that you can go to around the city all year long. Tons of black restaurants you can eat. I mean, if you're going to do anything for Black History Month, because there's no official way to celebrate it, just support black business. Simple as that. You know, people, because here's the thing. People will spend an extraordinary amount of money on something just for a name brand, but they won't do it to a black business because a black business will have a higher price than, you know, something that's generic. So it doesn't make any sense, right? Like, you have generic brand, black business, name brand, right? That's essentially how it goes. Bro, just support black business and save your money from the Levi's and the.
So looking like this month, I'm gonna go to a lot of seafood places. And on my block, a lot of black people don't like seafood spots. Like a lot.
There you go, man.
I'm just going.
I mean,
let me get some crab's leg. Let me get some crab legs, some crab sticks.
no, that's what I'm saying. You know, just you know, get your mercury levels up this month. And before we go to our next break, the other thing I wanted to mention, because it is Black History Month, is that one of the staples to African American culture, especially here in New York, is the Apollo Theater, and it turned 5 this year.
Oh yeah.
So happy birthday to the Apollo, and thank you for all the performances that you've brought to us, the amateur nights to give people opportunity, and of course just being that one place in Harlem that reminds us all that there is positivity in Harlem, whether or not there's gentrification, because it's still black and as black as can be.
That's
on
one
that
of
block.
like the places that has not changed for nothing.
You're not going to change the Apollo, man. You can't change the Apollo. If everything in Harlem were to become white in the next 10 years, like it very much can, because now there's a fucking Whole Foods, right? The Apollo will still be home.
From what I'm hearing, that Whole Food, it's not doing the Whole Food standard. Like it's not reaching.
It can't.
Huh?
It can't.
Yeah, it's not reaching.
Not enough white people there.
It's not, and they don't get me wrong. Black people love Red Lobster and Olive Garden, so those are doing really.
Oh, they're
well.
gonna do great, especially
But-
Red Lobster with them cheese biscuits.
But Whole Foods, from what I'm hearing, it's not reaching like the standards that they're used to. It's like that, and you're in Harlem. What do you expect?
Well, they were banking on drawing in more white folks, but where they put it is like too central. That's what it is. If they put it closer to the west side of Harlem, there just wasn't any space to develop that's not being turned into residential.
Yeah.
Or there's that new commercial mall that's being built right next to the water, right?
Oh yeah.
If they put it there and waited, they would have done better because the closer you are to the 1 train in Harlem, the wider it gets. You know, you have the university.
Oh, that's
few
a
blocks
fact.
down.
Once you pass the 1 train, like the hood disappears. It's just straight like white people and stuff. I'm like,
I mean, essentially, yeah, that's where they go. They some of the places along, like once you get past St. Nicholas, you have a good chance of finding white people walking about.
yeah.
You have to be past St. Nicholas going west, or you have to be close to Adam Clayton because that's where the stores are, right? But for the most part, living wise, from where Harlem actually starts on the west side, you get a lot of them from the university up, living around there because it's nearby the schools, the churches, and the water, right? When even riding that all the way up 135th, 145th, like you're gonna find more white people because that's also the train line that leads up to Riverdale. When you stay central in Harlem, that's where all the black people are,
Yeah.
right? Until you get all the way up to like the 160s and medical campuses for the universities, where now white people, that's exactly how the whole gentrification thing started. The schools buying up space for students.
Yeah, I think Columbia started that.
It is Columbia's fault, stupid
Yeah.
Columbia.
They made a Chipotle, so I don't know. I like Chipotle.
On that note, we are definitely
Before
going to our
that,
next commercial break.
before he
'cause
says that,
I
I'm
can't.
just hyped
I
about the
mean-
Valentine's Day sales where I can just buy pocket pussies. That's what I'm happy about. He thinks I'm joking. I'm so hyped.
Wow.
I'm so hyped about the sex toy sales that are about to come up. You can go on break now.
Stars are shining oh so bright, tinsel glistening up in the light. Lovers holding hands in the snow. I remember the kiss we shared under the mistletoe. I only get one wish this year. For me, it's always been clear. The only thing I'll ever need, all I'll ever want
Balance is being put early for us.
All right, so we're back. So there are a couple of other things we wanted to talk about. So I love the random updates I read on this. So the El Chapo case, right? His,
Wow.
his defense attorney pretty much calls one witness and is just like, yeah, I'm done. I mean, what more can I say? He's the fall guy. We're not even telling you he didn't do it. He's just the fall guy for the guy who actually did it. He did stuff. He just isn't the guy you should be trying to get right now because he's not the real boss. And everybody's just like, wait, so like he did so? I mean, he's just not the boss. That's the defense that he has. So we're just waiting to see how long El Chapo's going to be in jail at this point.
What has me rolling is that another report came out, like one of the witnesses went up to be like this. Oh yeah, he likes to bank 13-year-olds and he calls them vitamins. Like they literally have a whole doctor. He's like, I need my daily dose of vitamins, and like what he means by like, I need to bang these 13-year-olds. You think I'm joking? So like, it's legit.
I'm not saying you're joking. I'm just like, that's funny.
That's funny. The funniest thing about it to me was the simple fact that when they came out of nowhere, we're like, oh yeah, we just discovered this now while he was up there, and people were like, damn, R. Kelly's real. Like, they just started making mad R. Kelly jokes and El Chapo jokes.
I was waiting for R. Kelly to.
That's what I was just laughing because they just kept going back to the forth between this. Like, hey, Chapo's a Spanish R. Kelly. That's what's making me laugh. I'm like, damn. That's
Well, unfortunately for El Chapo, he didn't make great music. So, I mean, if he did, he wouldn't be on trial right now.
Yo, and when I keep hearing about Chapo, I'm like, he's pimping. My man's had a whole submarines full of drugs. Like, my man's had guap.
I mean,
You know how much is a goddamn submarine, bro? Like, bro.
I ain't saying that what he does have and doesn't have and what he did and whether or not it's impressive, scary, or just mildly shocking. But what I
It's
am
all of
saying
that.
is that he will be serving jail time, and I'm saying that now.
Well, we all know that. Unless he pays off the federal judge.
No, if he had a really good lawyer, maybe he could have got off because he's the fall guy. But when the defense is he's the fall guy who did stuff but shouldn't really be blamed for it, that is when you know you're going to jail.
You know who we need? We need John Cochran. Like, he would have been perfect with him.
No.
Johnny Cochran.
No.
That's the name.
He wouldn't have,
Why not?
because he's not O.J. Simpson.
He also got Snoop Dogg off, too. I just realized that the other day, too.
I mean, Snoop, man. Who's gonna be mad at Snoop?
Like, you know who it reminded me of? Like, when I was watching the Gabriel Iglesias special, and they reminded me of that. I was like, oh.
Yes. Other than that, we have MTA mentioned for a lot of different things lately. So one, I want to mention that there is a new beer coming out specifically because of the MTA, right? It's called Blue Point, right? They're building a new beer line specifically because the L train is expected to have a ridiculous amount of delays lasting from 40 minutes to an hour between trains, as they're doing this new construction idea instead of just shutting down the train line. So they're creating a new beer that's being advertised as something you can drink while you wait for the train.
That's smart.
I believe this is one of the greatest things done in New York of all time. So MTA screwing up finally leads to something good. Hopefully the beer tastes good. Haven't had it yet. We'll try it eventually.
You want it to be piss water or IPA?
Piss water, IPA, it doesn't matter. It's beer. Like, beer just is never really great. It's just kind of like, man, this will do.
I hate a beer, always.
I'm not a big beer fan, but there's certain beers I can drink. Like, I can drink a Corona. I like Corona.
I can't drink none of those beers because my friend messed me up because the first beers I ever had were IPA. And he kept giving me those IPAs for like 3 months straight. To the point when I had a Budweiser for the first time, I'm like, this tastes like piss water.
No.
And then my friend was like,
Budweiser. So here's the thing about a lot of beers. American beers aren't always that great. Budweiser is tolerable, but most beers that are good come from abroad, and the American version of them is literally a watered down version of them.
Yeah, so
like
not-
Heineken here tastes nothing like Heineken when you get it overseas.
yeah, Presidente here doesn't taste like the ones in DR.
Exactly.
The ones in DR is like,
I mean, the only beer here in America that unanimously is said to be better than the beer that's from where it's from is Foster's, because Australians don't drink Foster's until they come to America, and they're like, this is actually how Foster's should taste. Right. You know, you say it's Australian for beer. Well, it's made in Australia or from Australian company, but it's Americanized and tastes way better than the piss water they actually have in Australia.
wow.
Yeah, Australians drink a whole bunch of other stuff. It's not Foster's. They'll laugh at you if you try and order Foster's in Australia, but they won't if you do it here because they're like,
Didn't you get the?
no.
um,
This is my dad was a Navyman, so he traveled around the world. So this is where I get this from.
When I was laughing because I found out a lot of Australians. You know how now we have those anti-bullying stuff and all that stuff. In Australia, he was like, it's not bullying if everyone does it. So literally,
Oh, that's from a stand-up act with Fluffy.
yeah, cause like it was just funny, cause like it's real too. Like you talk to an Australian, like they're honest, like Africans, they're like,
Yeah, well,
"Hey."
that's the thing. Foreigners understand being brutally honest as just like being brutally honest. Like it's not no one. They're not sensitive. Americans are sensitive, especially this generation of Americans. You guys are soft. You're like really, really soft. You're softer than pillows. You're softer than Snuggles the bear.
Yeah, pretty much.
Just soft.
It just has me rolling with that when I see them joke about that. He's like, "Hey, look at that! It's a whale," and he's talking about a fat person. I'm like, "Damn!" Like it's in Africa they do it too. Like it's just funny when I see that.
But also like so back to the MTA. Besides these long delays are expected in the future, they've been having crazy long delays on the L line now and on other trains. Like this past weekend, there were trains that were taking up to half an hour to come in between trains. So it's not like there's a long delay because of a signal problem and then like that was it. No, they were taking like 30 minutes at a time to come. I know the weekend doesn't have as much traffic as the weekdays because half the people that are coming in from out of state or Long Island aren't in the city.
Don't work on weekends.
But like, bro, there's still how many millions of people here that got to get around and do stuff?
Yeah.
Because, like, New York City makes its money off of attractions. So to make sure everyone gets their butt to Manhattan to pay the rest of your bills should be done efficiently. I'm just saying.
Yeah, you're right.
All
I know is like what it was Saturday yesterday. Like trains were horrible.
Terrible. And they've been like that for the last 2-3 weeks for
Like
whatever reason.
if it wasn't for the fact that the train was already in the station, I caught it. It was like, oh, you have to wait 15 minutes for. I'm like, what? Like,
yeah.
this is no, and it's like a normal 15 minutes. It's like MTA 15 minutes, like a 30-minute wait. Like it's not even joking.
And then the other thing, well, you were talking about your boy 21 Savage getting picked up in New York, right? ICE's arrest rate has gone up a ridiculous amount. 1,700% in since Trump and his whole thing.
Yeah.
Pretty much. Let me explain this to you so that way it actually makes sense why it's such a ridiculous number. So ICE has always been doing its thing, right?
Oh yeah.
The ICE is three separate parts, and one of them specifically is to go and arrest people, right? There are 3 different divisions of ICE, so you have people who work for ICE and never even deal with taking people out or the country and things like that. They're just administrative and things like that. But one particular branch is meant to dedicate to getting illegal immigrants out the country. The stance before the Trump administration was to only do this by borders, whether it's by Canada, but mostly by Mexico, and of course shorelines, right? Because you get people taking boats in like Florida. But when Trump came in, he just pretty much said, get all illegal immigrants out. So it wasn't just borders like it has been through most presidencies. There have been people kicked out this country and whatever for years, folks. It was just a joke that we made about Texas, but it's been happening all throughout the borders for years.
Yeah, Obama has like the highest, like. Yeah.
Right, because his people were efficient, but they just stuck to the standard of doing it by the borders. All Trump did was give them the green light to look for immigrants all throughout the country. Start looking inward, not just the borders. So you have more active police out there. Nothing has actually changed. They're just increasing the area in which they're looking, which is why now you have a number jump up to 1,700%. When something is done to a full amount, it's 100%. This is 17 times more than being 100%, like being fully efficient, just because now they're actually doing their job. Look, folks, if these guys have been doing their jobs from jump, half of Queens would be gone. Understand that. Half of Queens. The Latinos, the Jamaicans, the Russians, all of them, all over Queens and every area, especially Astoria, would be gone. Heck, Main Street may not even exist. Right. So all these guys are doing are their jobs now. It's nothing excessive is being done. Oh, you shouldn't be looking for illegal immigrants anyway. Actually, that's kind of the whole purpose of this division, and now they're just doing it everywhere except for just Niagara Falls in New York State. Like, you get what I'm saying? So it seems ridiculous, it sounds ridiculous, but it's kind of what they were always supposed to do. Just saying.
I don't really have a fair fight in this immigration because technically my whole family's immigrants, but they're legal. So like I really can't say nothing about what they're legal.
So here's the big thing, right? So essentially, people want to say they're undocumented. No, Undocumented literally means you are illegally in the country because you did not go about the legal process to get here, right? Now, I'm not saying these guys are bad people. They're not. They come for various reasons. Most of them are actually good reasons for work opportunities, for opportunities for their children, things like that, right?
Because we fucked up.
Totally understandable, right? Especially with the number of jobs and positions that our culture has stated as bad that these people are willing to do because they realize money's money.
Yeah.
Right? There's the hardest working of Americans. One, because they have to hide who they are. So that's difficult. Figure out how to do all these different jobs, right? And pass a language barrier. All these people have done more than enough work to be in this country. Do not get me wrong. I'm not saying they should be kicked out. But the law says that they should. And frankly, they do all this hard work except for the work to actually become a naturalized citizen.
Yeah.
Because the rule that says they just have to wait long enough. Well, if you're taking a chance waiting, then there's a chance you're going to get kicked out.
Yeah,
and it's
don't they have
that
to wait,
simple.
Like 5 years or something?
7. But
So,
yeah,
yeah.
it's as long as it takes to be legally married without ever getting married.
Got it. So I have to make it through 7 years of this country to technically be legal.
Right. So if you get caught in 7 years, meanwhile, there are people who have come in illegally, right, and have actually gotten into full citizenship, right? This is while people knowing that they're illegal. A lot of the stuff that happened before the Trump administration was that people who were undocumented, if you want me to be PC, would actually go about and submit themselves to another branch of ICE and say, help me through the process. A lot of...
7 years, can come in credit, don't have a...
No, not 7 years. They would be here for maybe 2 years and be like, I'm tired of the running.
Got it.
The thing about it is that the country does let in a certain number of people become citizens, right? So it's just that it's not general knowledge that there are actually government agencies that will help you in the process if you do get here illegally. And not just off a student visa, I mean illegally, like you cross border, you're seeking asylum, things like that will help you with a government agency to get there. So it's playing that 50-50 because it's a 50-50 shot that you're going to the wrong place, especially if you don't speak the language.
So from this whole thing, the report's saying that the biggest problem with immigration isn't them crossing the border. It's the fact that people just overstay their visa. Like, that's the biggest...
Oh, no, that is the hugest problem, which is why there's a number of different regions and job sets where they're decreasing the amount of visas put in. Like, a lot of people are upset that where they're not letting in immigrants from other places for, you know, various reasons. They're doing it for work, too, because the largest number of illegals and undocumented people here are people who we let in legally.
Yeah, no, it's not because...
That's
like,
a bigger issue.
Not because they're illegal, stuff like it's because people overstay visa.
Which is exactly which makes them now illegal.
Yeah.
Which is why the term illegal immigrant is better than undocumented, because these fools have documents and they just overstayed them.
Yeah.
But that's why the government also went from just being a border control thing to getting everyone who doesn't belong out, because it's unfair to specifically pick on people who may be running for their lives. So we're getting the people out of here who's like, hey, you're supposed to work on this project in the U.S. for 3 years, and now it's been 6. What you still doing here? Oh, I like the food. No, back you go.
I can't.
I'm just saying.
Well,
the largest number of people allowed in for business reasons are usually Asian, both brown or yellow.
The whole thing is, like I was talking to someone, you want self-immigration real quick, is help niggas stabilize their government. They don't even want to fucking come into this country, like, at all.
Why is it America's problem to stabilize the world?
Destabilize
Our biggest issue is that we went to other places trying to fix them,
and we
messed up everything in the first place. Because we're like, if they're confused, we can take control of it, which is pretty much why now we're dealing with all this El Chapo bull crap now.
Yeah, like I was watching Narcos, like we really like started that drastic. Like their business was fine, like they didn't kill no
Taliban, Al Qaeda, ICE, all of them. Our own faults.
Yeah, pretty much.
Think about that. Us getting involved in the rest of the world is exactly why the world is as messed up as it is today.
Yeah.
So we need to stop getting involved in their places, leave them in their mess, and just let them kill themselves.
The biggest thing I'm hearing about is that whole like we're supposed to support Israel. I'm looking at people like hell no, like yo, just get up out of there.
Because we created it. It's our fault. It's like when you have a kid who's addicted to drugs and you want to, send them to interventions. You just feel like you need to help them.
They were like, oh, they have this whole thing with Democrats. Like, yeah, we support Israel. I'm looking at them like, don't support Israel. Like what they doing for us? Like,
here's the thing. You can't make a country. They literally made Israel, right? They said they own the U.S., not the UN. The U.S. said that they own the rights to the Palestinian land because of what they did to beat the Ottomans in the First World War.
Oh yeah.
So because the U.S. said, we got this, they won it. Let's give it to them. We put them in the middle of everyone around them who wants them dead after taking them away from the Nazis who wanted them dead. So at that point, well, let's see if they get along with at least the ones that the rest of the Arabs don't like, because Palestinians weren't liked by other Arabs because they were more socially accepting to other groups. And then the Palestinians were mad, like, why are there these random people trying to take over my home? Now we got to defend them. So after all these years defending them, giving them the weapons they need to beat everybody else up, and, you know, financially aiding them, we can't just back out now to leave them to face everyone that hates them after we also enraged all those people, right? Now, should we support Israel? Financially, we kind of have to. But we should condemn them for how they treat the Palestinian people.
In my opinion, you should just get out, bro.
Like
Trump. Don't get me wrong. I don't like Trump. Trump is semi-stupid. Like a couple policies like this. Yeah, we're going to leave these countries now. We're leaving.
I can honestly say that the only thing I agree with the Trump administration about is this, where it's just like we need to just leave them to their own.
Yeah,
because to me, they have taken things beyond where they need to take them.
Yeah, like we leaving Iraq now, Iran. Like we leaving a lot of these like countries, Afghanistan. We're like, no, we're leaving. Like, and people are like, no, you shouldn't leave. No, we're leaving. Like, we don't need to be here anymore. Like, we out. Like deuces.
And the last piece of MTA news I wanted to get to is that there's a major cry for installing more elevators, or at least escalators in MTA servicing after the death of Malaysia. I want to get this right. I think it's Courting. Pretty much this young lady was visiting a relative, and on the blue line around 53rd Street, I believe, she was going down the staircase and had the stress levels built up in her body where she had some sort of internal issue account because she was trying to take a stroller down the stairs by herself. So although the city has been thinking about doing some stuff and trying to figure out how they can implement this, there's been a major outcry from people that after this young lady done lost her life because there was no other way to service the station that she was needed to get to, that the city has to be more accommodating for those who are wheelchair accessible and family bound. So, you know, sorry to her family.
Also, guys, don't be a dick. Like, if you see a lady with a stroller,
she was by herself late night. Yeah, it wasn't like there was somebody there who could.
Yeah, I was about to say, like, when I hear that story, I was like, yo, like, ain't nobody try to help or something? Like, because I'm usually.
We'll put it to you this way: there was no one even there to attack her. So why would there be, you know?
Yeah.
And this is New York at night. You know, this story was normally ends up being not an outcry for, oh, you need to fix these stations. It turns into you need to catch that dude because somebody would have attacked her. No, she was trying to get her stroller down there, and they're not sure if it was a heart attack or an asthma attack because she does have a history of asthma. But there was an internal issue that took place, and fortunately, in her fall, she was able to save her baby.
Thank God.
Yeah. It was wrapped up in her arms, able to save her baby. So, you know, like, yeah, nobody robbed her, bro. They found her after she had an internal thing.
What's going to happen to the baby? It's going to go to the father?
I don't know. It didn't sound like the father was really in the picture. It might have to go to another relative. It's probably not
grandma
in the system. Well, she was in the city visiting a cousin, so at least we know she has a blood relative.
Yeah, probably that grandma, cousin. Somebody.
Yeah, it's somebody. It's going to family. Hopefully, you never know with these sort of situations. But before we go to our last break, I had to do a what irks me. So recently, another story that happened this week was that one of the members of the Smollett family, who pretty much are in a bunch of young black industry ventures, like, well, in this case, Empire, which I absolutely detest.
I know what you mean.
Yes. He was attacked in Chicago for being both gay and black. Now, I'm not even going to get into this full whatever. What irks me, of all things, in this situation, is that Kevin Hart wanted to show support to the family, to his friend, and made a statement about, you know, I have your back, anything that I can do to help, you know, wish you a speedy recovery, that sort of deal, because this guy was brutally attacked.
No problem.
And
they
took photos and everything. They even had him hung by a noose, which the noose thing, definitely black, right? And I want to stress this before I get into this. And Kevin Hart giving his support to his friend, right? Officially, you know, videographing, because everything these days has to either be on camera or it didn't happen. then gets a whole ton of backlash from the gay community saying that it's people like you who make jokes like that that are the reason that this happens. Now, first and foremost,
You don't like Kevin Hart.
he's black, right? A black man is showing support to a black man regardless of whether or not he sucks a penis. You no longer get a voice to say or say anything about him. Kevin Hart made some jokes about not wanting his son to be gay, right? Over a decade ago. And you know who a group of community understands what he was talking about? And that is the black community. Bro, I bet you this guy that he's even supporting right now had trouble coming out to his family because he understands that black people do not wish to have homosexual children culturally. But he didn't deny ever being black even when he wasn't fully out as gay. Because being black comes first. Because your sexuality you can hide. Your color you can't. You don't even have to be black. You could just look black because you're Dominican, Panamanian, Afrocentric. Hell, you can have a tan too bad and a nose too wide and people think you're black. And they treat you as such. So before the gay community ever feels they have a voice to outcry about anything that has to deal with race, shut the fuck up.
Yeah, that kind of irked me.
I'm not even a Kevin Hart fan, and I think y'all are being too ridiculous about this. Yeah. This man was trying to show support, so regardless if he's black, white, whatever, show support to someone who was abused for things that they have no control over, for things that should be irrelevant to anyone else. This could be a white guy doing this. But in this case, it's a black man speaking to a black man. Gay community, shut the fuck up.
I can't.
And on that note, we're going to do our last commercial break.
I can't even say nothing.
Crate digger, old school Tommy Hill figure. Plagiarize the rhyme, bust them out of they spine. Yo, I pledge for my freedom. No pledge of allegiance, I'm about as legend as LeBron. Hail Irish get a wish like chicken coop 4 a.m. I pray nobody else die from the streets in the mayhem. Like a little rusty, armpits musty. Overweight, gentlemen, entitled by the gluttony. Residue on the scale from a lot of cell. Lot of blood on the concrete surrounded by the shell. Balls indefinite, my words are a weapon. Gillette razor blade to his face, had to check him. It's stupid record sales, watch us recoup it. With Primo on the beach, your head knocked to it fall off. Sanitize your eyes, live alive, paralyzed, authentic. Go hard forever and represent it authentic.
Who's the best? Writers, DJs, MCs, and breakers.
Authentic.
You should recognize the true authentic sound of this.
Authentic.
Who's the best? You should recognize the true authentic sound of this.
Authentic.
You should recognize the true authentic sound of this.
Hey yo, I swing like the bottom of my chain hold premise. Frisk capture jaw to the point you need a dentist. Independent style, Master P, no limit. Line casted out, fishing out in Lake Michigan. Kush cereal, eat brownies for breakfast. Skype bitches overseas, talking mad reckless. I'm real big, homie, and you not. I'm sway cut by Da Vinci, y'all just robots. My logic is me, got an ill 16. Nobody left alive when I leave off the scene. I spit that make it feel real right. Like a fiend lighting up, smoking on the crack pipe. Endangered by my species, y'all just feces. Disappear, reappear like Houdini. Ill on the boom back, play me on ADAT. Hear me on vinyl tape or CD format. Authentic.
Who's the best? Writers, DJs, MCs, and breakers.
Authentic.
You should recognize the true authentic sound of this.
Authentic.
Who's the best? You should recognize the true authentic sound of this.
Authentic.
You should recognize the true authentic sound of this.
I say Jordans over Yeezys, purple haze Reebok. I just want the that they always have out of stock. Pick the lock, coming through the back door with metaphor to make them jump out of their drawers. Yo, you had your shot, now I'm going hard in the pain. Unexplainable matter, doing shit that you can't. Format the formulation, allow me to start slaying. Stinging with lyrical, when lyrics just start spraying. Praying, talking up the guy, hear what I'm saying? Yo, I'm real, not clone, never a silicone. Authentic, everything, yo, I say, I meant it. Need no confessions and I always owe repentance. Real war fabric, like Tuskegee jacket. Sun so fake when he speak, he talk backwards. I'm everlasting, I'm going all the way up. Done like me, when I get there, I stay up. Authentic.
Who's the best? Writers, DJs, MCs, and breakers.
Authentic.
You should recognize the true authentic sound of this.
Authentic.
Who's the best? You should recognize the true authentic sound of this.
Authentic.
You should recognize the true authentic sound of this.
Yeah.
So, we're gonna do our reviews first before we get to our fans. So
I'm not.
no, we got this. So, the movie for this week is The Dragons. So, How to Train a Dragon 3 is coming out. See, I'm just saying this because there's someone in the room right now who gets really excited when just to mention
You
dragons.
mean old Captain America?
What?
No, because they show like every single Captain America as he grew in every movie, and then How to Train a Dragon, like go through every movie. Now he has a beard like Captain Steve Rogers does in
No.
Infinity War.
No. So,
You gotta see the picture.
How to Train a Dragon 3 is coming out, but they did an early screening this past weekend. So, because Miss Bala looked really, really over the top corny, totally skipped it. Miss Bala, it's another movie about some Spanish girl who becomes like queen of a drug lord ring and then does it to save her friend who was kidnapped and then somehow takes down the entire drug ring with like the CIA's whatever. It's like I said, it sounds as ridiculous as I'm talking about it right now, and it just looked really bad. But the lead actress is from I guess what is that, the Mary Virgin thing that was on CW.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, where she's
I
hot,
know
but like the show
exactly.
was really bad. So that was actually this
Jane,
movie.
Jane the Virgin, I think it was.
Jane the Virgin. There we go.
It was a funny show.
Yeah.
To a certain
Yeah.
like the trailer was funny.
Dude, it was a really crappy version of Pushing Daisies, but without the interesting mystery part of it. It was just really bad.
It reminded me of that show Awkward.
Not even Awkward was funny.
Yeah.
Like this was bad.
I want them to bring the world of R.J. Berger.
Anywho, well, yeah, R.J. Berger should have came back for season 3, but MTV's crazy. But the movie How to Train Your Dragon 3 is probably one of the best trilogy conclusions I've seen in a very long time. This movie got so big to the point where they created a Netflix series that had multiple seasons. It was very good. And then there were games of this. It was really popular. People that were at the theater weren't just parents. There were a lot of couples that went. You always know a series is a good series when people stick through it over the years. Like, you know they're going to be nothing but adults at the next Toy Story movie that comes out.
Yeah, Toy Story.
Some of them may have kids. Hopefully it's their own.
Lion King. We know Lion King's going to have a lot
The
of
Lion
adults.
King's going to have a lot of adults.
Incredibles 2 had a crap ton of
Of course it did, because all of us actually waited for the damn movie.
we
This is the first Incredibles for some kids. But no, so this movie, I mean, honestly, it's a 5 out of 5. I think it's a great children's film. It's a great solo movie, as much as it is a great conclusion to the series. It not only wraps up its own story, but it properly wraps up the entire story. And it makes use of a lot of the characters in their best ways. Like, there's no main character from the original tale that you don't have a great moment of in this movie. And you do fully get to see the lead take over and, like, truly develop into the leader he should be. One thing that this does, as well as the TV series, is just, like, give great character development. It just does it in about 90 minutes, so that's even more impressive. Definitely take your families to go see it when it hits theaters later this month. And honestly, I'm glad that DreamWorks put together a project like this in the first place, so thank you. Other than that, the other thing I wanted to review real quick, and do it quickly, right? I know you ramble your ass off for days, but
Not this time.
Fluffy came out with a comedy special.
A1.
I can't agree. I say it's a 3 out of 5, and the reason why is that a lot of it wasn't funny. Like, I wasn't laughing my butt off through most of it because they was telling these really long stories. Is it amusing? Yes. Is it worth watching? Yes. But is it his best work? No. In fact, a lot of it is reused material, which he does just because of the nostalgia effect.
Oh, yeah, I didn't like the last part either.
Right. Like,
the last part was boring.
But in all honesty, this thing is, to me, I think it's worth watching because the way that it goes from beginning to end was actually really touching. This was more of an emotional comedy special to honor his 20 years in comedy than it was to really be a comedy special to make you laugh. Next week we'll do a review of the entire well, I guess what is that, comedian stand-up thing, the World of Comedy thing that's on Netflix. So we're gonna do an entire breakdown of that series, who to watch, who to skip, and all of that. That'll be next Sunday. That's why I mentioned this. But definitely give Fluffy
4 or 5
your hour, because it is worth a watch. There's a lot to learn about him if you are a fan of Gabriel Iglesias, and in all honesty, you will be amused.
I only like the final part because of the audience. That made it funny.
Exactly.
That was the only funny part.
Now, before we go, we got to get through our fans of the week real quick. So, first and foremost, is a constant fan on the Facebook page. You'll see him a lot on the page. You'll see him a lot on the show because he's a constant fan on the page. Ruben Diaz, thank you.
Hello.
He's been following heavily for about a year or so now. Then after him is a friend of mine, actually a friend of yours. We got lucky and a guy won this week, so Walpy can't shoot no shots unless you feel like fencing this weekend.
Nah.
All right then. So Frank Carter.
Walpy's Love Connection just got canceled.
So Frank Carter,
next
who is
season,
a musician,
next week.
You've actually heard some of his songs on the LDM Network and the LDM Radio.
My boy.
Yeah.
My boy Frank.
And he has also been a guest on XY101, so thank you for being a big supporter of me, my projects for the last 2 years. And the last but not least is our pick of the week, which I loved. It is a picture of the 4 boys from Stardust Crusader, Adventure, and they just posing like they about to drop that 90s mixtape that gonna hit your soul real hard.
That Wu-Tang.
Yo, for real, like they gonna get at you. They looking mad tough for no reason. Word, like the best part about JoJo is how black it is, even though it's Asian. Like no, seriously, they like to pick up a lot of cues from African American culture, and then like pop it in as the pop culture of the series, because we all know that Asians love black culture, even if they don't love black people, like the most of this world. And on that note, this has been another episode of Will's Review. We'll catch y'all next week. And again, Patriots for the win.
Make New York grimy again. Whoopi's Live Connection will come on next episode next week.
Can't get.
Excuse me, I'm next in line. Excuse me, I'm next in line. Watch out. Excuse me, I'm next in line. I said move.